What if I told you that the richest person in your town wasn't the doctor, wasn't the lawyer, and wasn't the business owner? What if it was the janitor sweeping the floors at the local store? Nobody would believe that, but it happened. And the man's name was Ronald Read. Ronald Read was born in 1921 in Dummerston, Vermont. He grew up in a poor farming family. No money, no connections, no head start. Every single day, he walked or hitchhiked 4 miles just to get to high school. But he showed up, and he became the first person in his entire family to graduate. When World War II started, Ronald served in the U.S. military. He was deployed to North Africa, Italy, and the Pacific. He came back home to Vermont in 1945 with no job lined up, no degree, and no investment account. He did what made sense. He got a job at a gas station as an attendant and mechanic. He worked there for 25 years. Then he picked up a part-time job as a janitor at JCPenney. He worked there for 17 years until 1997. Combined, Ronald Read spent over 4 decades doing work that most people overlook: pumping gas, sweeping floors, fixing cars. Nothing glamorous, nothing that screams wealth. He never earned a high salary. He never started a business. He never got a bonus, a promotion into a corner office, or a 6-figure paycheck. By all appearances, Ronald Read was just a quiet, simple man living a quiet, simple life in small-town Vermont. His neighbors knew him as the guy who drove an old, beat-up car. His friends saw him wearing a coat held together with safety pins. He cut his own firewood well into his 90s. Nobody suspected anything. When Ronald Read died on June 2, 2014, at age 92, people assumed his estate would be modest. Maybe some savings, maybe a small house. What they found instead shook everyone who knew him. Ronald Read had quietly, secretly, patiently built a fortune worth $8 million. His family was, in the words of his stepson Philip Brown, tremendously surprised. His neighbors were stunned. The local community could not wrap their heads around it. This man, this janitor, had more wealth than most people could accumulate in 3 lifetimes. And nobody had any idea. So how did he do it? It was not complicated. In fact, the strategy Ronald Read used is something anyone can understand in 5 minutes. The hard part is not understanding it. The hard part is doing it for decades without stopping. Ronald Read spent less than he earned. Every single month, he saved a portion of his modest income. While coworkers spent their paychecks on newer cars and nicer things, Ronald kept his expenses as low as possible. He did not deprive himself of a meaningful life. He simply refused to let lifestyle inflation eat his future. Then he took those savings and invested them in the stock market. Not in exotic investments, not in options or crypto or speculative bets. He bought shares of solid, well-known American companies. Companies like Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, JPMorgan Chase, and CVS. He bought companies that produced real products, served real customers, and paid real dividends. And then he waited. When Ronald Read died, investigators found a 5-inch thick stack of stock certificates in a safe deposit box. At least 95 different companies, stocks he had accumulated over decades. He bought shares and held them. He reinvested his dividends to buy more shares. Year after year, his portfolio compounded. Slowly, quietly, relentlessly. He did make mistakes. His portfolio included shares of Lehman Brothers, which collapsed completely in 2008. But because he was diversified across so many companies, that single failure could not take him down. He had built a financial foundation strong enough to absorb losses without blinking. Ronald Read retired at age 76. He kept investing. He kept living frugally. He read the Wall Street Journal every day and studied stocks at the local library. He chatted with neighbors about the market. He was not secretive out of shame. He was simply private. That was his personality. A humble man who did not need anyone to know what he had built. Now here is the part of this story that should stop you cold. Ronald Read did not invest $8 million. He did not start with a windfall. He did not inherit money. He invested small amounts consistently over a very long period of time. He let compound interest do the heavy lifting. Compound interest is the process where your returns generate more returns, and those returns generate even more returns until the growth becomes almost impossible to believe. If you invest $500 a month starting at age 25 and earn a 10% average annual return, which is close to the historical average of the U.S. stock market, you will have over $2.9 million by age 65. You did not earn $2.9 million from your job. You earned a fraction of that. The rest came from compounding, from time, from patience, from not touching the money. Ronald Read had roughly 69 years to let his investments grow. He started after returning from World War II in 1945 and held stocks until his death in 2014. Time was his greatest asset. Not income, not intelligence, not luck. This is the lesson the financial industry does not want to sell you because it is too simple and too slow. You do not need a financial genius. You do not need a hot stock tip. You need a job, a savings habit, a basic portfolio of solid companies or index funds, and the discipline to leave it alone for decades. Most people will read Ronald Read's story, feel inspired for a few minutes, and then go back to their regular financial habits. They will keep spending everything they earn. They will keep delaying investing until they feel ready. They will keep waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. Ronald Read did not wait for the perfect moment. He just started. A janitor, living in a small town in Vermont, with no advantages and no shortcuts, built $8 million over a lifetime of ordinary decisions made consistently. He left $1.2 million to his stepchildren and donated approximately $6 million to the Brattleboro Memorial Hospital and Brooks Memorial Library, the institutions that had served his community for years. He did not build wealth to show it off. He built it because the math works, and he trusted the math. The question is simple. Are you willing to trust it too?
Hey, if this video gave you something to think about, that's exactly why I make these every single day. Most of this stuff nobody ever teaches you, and I just think that needs to change. So if you got value today, hit subscribe.